Have you ever noticed it? That quiet voice in your head whispering, "You're not ready. You'll fail again. Who do you think you are?" You don't talk about it, but it's always there, lurking in moments of hesitation. It doesn't scream. It doesn't yell. It just waits, feeding off your self-doubt. But what if I told you that the ancient Stoics had a silent strategy for silencing that voice forever? Not through fake positivity, not through empty motivation, but by reshaping the way you live and think. In this video, we're going to uncover the Stoic secrets that transformed men from uncertain to unshakable. So if you're ready to finally unlock your hidden potential, stay with me. You won't need hype, just the discipline of stillness, clarity, and a method that has stood for over 2,000 years. Self-doubt is not the enemy, it's the compass. Here's a truth most people miss. Self-doubt isn't weakness, it's data. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That same logic applies inward. When self-doubt arises, the Stoic does not panic. He investigates. Ask yourself, is this fear based on facts or feelings? Am I unprepared? Or am I just uncomfortable? Is this a red light or a green light with nerves attached? The Stoics believe that emotions are signals, not rulers. So instead of silencing doubt with affirmations, they interrogated it with reason. Self-doubt then becomes a compass, not a wall, mastering the dichotomy of control. If there's one principle that sits at the heart of Stoicism, the bedrock that supports every Stoic practice, it's this: there are things you control, and there are things you don't. At first glance, it seems obvious, but once you start applying it to your life, especially to moments of self-doubt, it becomes a profound tool for inner freedom. Epictetus, the former slave turned philosopher, put it plainly: happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. Self-doubt often thrives when you confuse the two. You start to fear what others will think of you. You worry whether your effort will lead to success. You spiral into questions like, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if they judge me? But the Stoic mind interrupts that spiral with a calm realization. Those outcomes are not entirely in my control, but my preparation, my character, my choices, those are. And that shift changes everything. Imagine two people preparing for a speech. One obsesses over the audience's reaction, the number of views, the chance they might mess up. The other, trained in Stoic thinking, narrows their focus. Did I prepare well? Am I speaking the truth? Am I showing up with integrity? The first is drowning in what-ifs. The second stands grounded, not because they feel fearless, but because they've chosen to release what doesn't belong to them. This is what it means to master the dichotomy of control. It doesn't mean apathy. It doesn't mean you stop caring about success or outcomes. It means you anchor your identity in effort over ego, in discipline over desire, and in process over perfection. Even Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, a man with unimaginable power, reminded himself daily that his control only extended so far. Not over the weather, not over the betrayal of friends, not even over his own eventual death. But he could control his choices, his principles, and how he responded. So the next time you feel that creeping self-doubt, ask yourself, am I worrying about something I cannot control? Can I shift my energy back to what I can control? My thoughts, my actions, my values? You will notice something powerful when you do this consistently. Your anxiety will start to shrink. Your focus will sharpen. You'll stop trying to play the role of the universe and start mastering the role of yourself. And that's where strength lives. Not in controlling everything, but in controlling yourself in the midst of everything. Because the Stoic doesn't seek a life free from challenge. He seeks a mind free from chaos. And that begins with understanding this. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Epictetus: once you master that line, self-doubt loses its power. You may still hear it whisper, but you'll no longer follow its lead. One of the core Stoic tools is so deceptively simple it's often overlooked. Focus only on what you can control. Most self-doubt comes from obsessing over outcomes we don't own. People's opinions, the results, the timeline. But Epictetus reminded us, some things are up to us, and some things are not. If you study, practice, and show up fully, you win, even if you stumble. The Stoic plays the long game. He judges himself not by applause, but by effort, discipline, and presence. This shift reduces anxiety and turns doubt into fuel. Every time you focus on the input, you free yourself from the tyranny of the outcome. The mirror practice, a Stoic ritual for inner confidence. Seneca practiced what we now call a nightly audit. He reflected, without judgment, asking, "What did I do today? What did I avoid? Where did I act small?" This is how confidence is born. Not from pretending you're fearless, but from proving to yourself that you're honest. Confidence isn't loud. It's earned. By checking your actions daily, you remind yourself, I have nothing to hide. I did my part. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to be self-aware and consistent. This quiet discipline builds something louder than fake bravado, real strength. The power of inner dialogue. Become your own commander. Here's a strange truth the Stoics knew. You are not your thoughts. You're the one listening to them. So when your mind says, you can't do this, you don't argue. You observe. You say, interesting. That's fear talking. But fear doesn't run the ship. You start leading yourself like a commander. Not yelling, not panicking, just calmly navigating the storm. Over time, this becomes automatic. You'll hear the voice of doubt, and you'll nod at it like an old opponent, but you'll keep moving. Stoic action. Motion destroys insecurity. All Stoic teachings lead to this one truth. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. You can't overthink your way out of doubt. You must act your way through it. Discipline, routine, repetition. You run, you write, you build. Not because you feel fearless, but because you choose to move anyway. That's where the transformation happens. When the man you are today outpaces the voice of the man you used to be, and self-doubt becomes irrelevant.